Hello and welcome to the 10 Essentials of Time Management webinar. It is currently Sunday, January 25th, 2015 at 6 p.m. Pacific time. In this webinar, we'll be going over the effective ways to manage time in a seemingly nonstop world that's pretty difficult to do while maintaining your sanity. Oftentimes it feels as though there's never enough time in the day and we always wish we had more time. But the real problem, however, is not the amount of time in the day, but how the time in each day is utilized. In this webinar, we'll go over 10 simple tactics that can be easily implemented in your everyday life in order to remedy the problem of underutilized time. My name is Lisa Lamb Diaz. I currently have a Bachelor of Arts in Communication Studies. I'm a public relations master's student, and I have years of experience in administration, coordinating, leadership, and I'm an experienced multitasker. Aside from all the lovely titles I've listed here, I have to say that I've grown very accustomed to time management in my life. Everyone honestly has to utilize time management, whether they realize it or not. In the last year, I had to write a 60-page thesis paper, balance 2 part-time jobs. I had an 80-mile commute to and from school, and I had just gotten married, so I had a new apartment and a new husband, so a brand new lifestyle. So it's definitely a lot to get used to, a lot to manage, but along the way I did learn quite a few tips, and that's what I'm here to share with you today. Here are the 10 different tips that we'll be going over today. Just a quick preview, just to let you know what's going on. But before we get into those tips, I'd like to first go over what is time management. Time management is the ability to plan and control how you spend the hours in your day to effectively accomplish your goals. That is courtesy of Psychology Today. You can go ahead and click the link right here if you'd like. In a modern society, it is highly industrialized, it's rapidly changing, there's a fast pace in the reality of everyday life. We try to keep up, but honestly, we always wish we had more time and we think we don't have any time for ourselves. But the concept of time management refers to managing time effectively. In other words, time management helps us do the most important and/or urgent activities in a given period of time. Poor time management can be related to procrastination as well as problems with self-control. And then the skills involved in managing your time include planning for the future, setting goals, prioritizing tasks, and monitoring where your time actually goes. I'd like to point out that we are all equal when it comes to time. I know that sounds self-explanatory. We all have 24 hours in a day, but a lot of the time we think that our time is more valuable than others. And in the end, we have to realize that we have to value our own time and others will do the same. We can't think that our time is more or less important than anybody else's. So let's jump right into topic number 1. The first tip that I have for you is to create a to-do list. The value of lists is honestly, I can't stress enough how important it is. I make one every single day, and that's something I'd encourage you to do as well. Make a new list every single day. In our knowledge-based age, we all suffer from information overload. So many of you find yourself working like I do, trying to use various methods of notes and reminders and follow up on a ton of items that occupy your day. But a solution for this problem is to make a list. If you have a list, mark it off as you go, and that will result in you being more focused. It all begins with listing. If you've never used one before, go ahead and try making one. There are many time management apps, as you see right here. You can go ahead and click on this link. It gives you the top 9 iPhone apps for time management if you are a digital person and want to have it on your phone. Or you can write it out on a piece of paper and scratch them off like I like to. I get some satisfaction from crossing a task off my list. I have an example for you here. This is just one thing I sat down and busted out in 5 minutes. It's all the things that were in my mind. I had bills, school, calls, food, cleaning, all these things that were just floating around in my head, keeping me stressed out, keeping me overwhelmed. But as you see, you can get rid of your mental roadblocks, clear your mind, and stay focused if you just get it all out on paper and work it through as you go. The next point I have is to follow a daily routine. Right here I actually have a downloadable template. If you'd like to check it out, you're more than welcome. But following a daily routine is really important. If you have to do something every single day, you might as well have a routine for it. For instance, laundry. It is something that has to be done, whether or not we all like it. So it's something that we should put into a time slot or put schedule some time in your calendar so that you know when it's going to be done every single day. Chances are that if you do a lot of those things, after you put it on your calendar, you won't forget that it's actually supposed to be done. So that's another stress just completely out of your mind. And as I said, there are downloadable templates there that can kind of help you stay on track, help keep things categorized and things like that. The next topic I have is to reward yourself. It sounds kind of silly, but make things enjoyable. Honestly, life is short. When you have a billion things to do on your to-do list, it's good to reward yourself with occasional breaks. The way that I usually do it is that I have a goal. So let's say I have to clean my kitchen. So I'll clean my kitchen, do every task that I had on my to-do list for that, and then I'll take a short snack break or a short break to pamper myself or watch a show, however I'm feeling, however much energy it took, just to kind of keep myself balanced. Otherwise, you're going to experience burnout, and that's no fun. Take many breaks when you need them, as I said, and then take lengthy breaks from work on the weekend if you can. It's really important to take care of your body so that you can stay productive in the long term. Number 4 is declutter your life. Many people have been amazed at how much time clutter requires. If you're constantly digging through clutter and everything's a mess and you can't keep track of where things are, that actually wastes a lot of time. So sorting through your drawers, closets, cubbies, going room by room and creating space, maybe just taking 15 minutes a day to kind of declutter a space is actually really, really great for you in the long run. It will enable you to spend less time managing chaos and more time focused on the stuff that matters. As a time and chaos management academic journal says, the more organized you are, the more efficient you will be in using 24 hours of each day. My next point is to be wise with social media. If you're like me, social media is an important part of your schooling, of your social life, of your job perhaps. So I'm not here to tell you that social media needs to completely be off your radar, because I understand that many people wake up in the morning and check their notifications and clear them all out, like I do. So what I'm asking is that you're aware of how much time you actually do spend on your social media. Studies are actually showing that Americans now spend more time on Facebook than they do with their pets, honestly. Americans now spend about 40 minutes a day checking their Facebook feed, and they only take care of their pets about 39 minutes, take care of their emails about 33, and so on. So if you want to go ahead and check out some statistics that I have right here, you're more than welcome. There's some pretty interesting stuff to look at, but I'd like you to be aware that if you're going to waste time, whether it be on Facebook or Twitter or whatever it may be, just because it's a nice hobby for you, try to do that at the end of the day. Don't start your day with 15 minutes of clearing all of your Facebook notifications and scrolling through your feed for half an hour. Also, if you're easily distracted by notifications or social media alerts, try your best to turn them off during times when you know you shouldn't be distracted. So if you have a very, very busy day ahead of you and you know that it's going to catch you off guard to have 13 little red 13 on your Facebook icon on your iPhone, then just turn those notifications off for the time being, and that'll really help keep your mind clear. Let's move on to number 6, prioritize. Oftentimes, people don't realize the importance of prioritizing. A lack of prioritization usually leads to procrastination. So rather than getting frustrated or annoyed, simply ask yourself, why are you procrastinating? Are you scared of the task ahead? Is it too difficult, too boring? Are you tired? We usually waste a lot of time and energy on things that we're just putting off. So what I suggest is that since you can't do everything, learn to prioritize the important things and let go of the rest. There's actually an 80-20 principle, which is a key principle in prioritization, which means that 80% of the things that you'd like to get done are actually from 20% of the things in your head. So there's lots of studies. You can go ahead and check out the references page that I have at the last couple of slides, and it has a lot more to read about with that, but we're going to go ahead and move on. What I'd like to say, though, one last thing, is that with prioritization, decide what needs to be done and highlight it on your to-do list. So for me, I have my priorities listed on my to-do list by literally putting numbers next to them, what I know needs to be done that day. What I would suggest for you is you use a highlighter, maybe circle something in red, or just make sure that in the midst of the numerous things on your to-do list that you do have a couple of things that stick out to you that are high priority for you. Number 7 is to work out. I know this sounds like a drag, and honestly, people think working out takes way more time than it's worth, but I can't help but tell you that there are numerous studies that suggest that exercise does increase your productivity. There's numerous physical and mental benefits to working out, so if you can try to carve out some time in your day or reformat your schedule so that you can fit in some time to take care of your body, I would highly, highly suggest it. it results in you being more focused, your blood gets flowing, you have more energy. And so take care of yourself, take care of your body. And that's the way to do it with working out. Number 8, know your limits. Making plans and setting goals is great, but it's also important to be realistic. When you overplan your day and expect too much, you get frustrated and discouraged. So try to set achievable goals while still challenging yourself. End your workday at a fixed time. Don't let it creep in to fill your entire evening. You can also have 2 finishing times. Let's say for an ideal day, you have one time, and then you have a day that's just been way too busy and you can't really control it. You can set a different time. You have to know your limits. You have to keep some balance in your life. Otherwise, your time is just going to be all over the place. It's going to interfere with all of your different avenues of life. Your personal, professional, educational will all get mixed together. So keep track of what is good for you. One last thing about knowing your limits is that it's really important to sleep. Some people think that with time management, the answer is to just not sleep because then you honestly have more hours in the day. That is not the way to make more of your time and to be the most efficient with your time. You have to take care of your body. You have to get your rest so that you can be the best you can be when you are awake. Number 9, kind of bouncing off of the last point, is just to let go of some control. I am a control freak. I know this about myself. I'm a neat freak. I'm a perfectionist. I'm a control freak. But I have learned over the course of time that you have to let go of some control. You have to get yourselves out of the situations where you have no time for everything because you haven't delegated tasks to anybody because you feel like you can take care of all of it by yourself. You have to learn to trust people. You have to learn to say no. If people are constantly hassling you, constantly trying to get your attention and take your time, you have to know yourself well enough and let go of some control and be able to say, I'm sorry, I can't do that right now. Can we reschedule? It's just really important to keep on top of that kind of stuff because honestly, if you are continuously trying to have control over everything, you're going to drive yourself into the ground. Lastly, take 5 minutes to recap at the end of the day. I know that sounds silly. We've already taken so much time in the beginning of the day to plan, and then we've had the whole day to execute our plan, but take 5 at the end of the day to recap. This is one of those moments where you can say, wow, look at what I've accomplished today. You can think about the things you might have missed. You can write them down so you can take care of them the next day. My husband, for instance, he gets really bad insomnia because he lays in bed and just thinks and thinks and thinks and thinks. So one night I suggested to him to take his phone or take a piece of paper and write down everything that was stressing him out on paper, and he went right to sleep. So if anything, it'll really help you just to clear your mind so you can get to bed, which is really, really important. As you see here, I have a ton of different online articles for you guys to all review. There's a lot of really great information and resources, downloadable templates for you to check out, so feel free to click on those. They are all active links, so have fun reading. And then we also have academic journals and periodicals that I've listed throughout this. I have this entire PDF available for download on my website, so you're more than welcome to download. And then there's me. I'd be more than happy to connect with you on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or my website. Thank you all so much for tuning in for this webinar. I hope that it's been helpful, and I hope you have a lovely day.